Good morning, friends. It's Ms.B, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Yesterday we read a poem called Pancakes, which certainly has me wanting pancakes for breakfast this morning. And then we read a poem also by Shel Silverstein called Smart. Now, if you remember in our poem yesterday, it was that little boy who was given $1 by his dad. And he goes out into town and he starts trading this dollar bill for other things. Now, it's important that we remember, before we flash back to our poem yesterday, that $1 is worth 100 cents. We're going to try and figure out if we think this boy made smart choices or not so smart choices. So the boy starts out with his $1 bill, which is worth 100 cents. And the first trade he makes is with, we don't know who. He doesn't even tell us who he trades it with, but we do know that he swaps it for 2 shiny quarters. And his explanation is that's a good decision because 1 is less than 2, so he's going from $1 bill to 2 quarters. Now we need to decide, do we think that's a good trade? Do we think that was a smart choice or not? So first we have to know, how much is a quarter worth? We think back, we have 4 types of coins. We have pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. And that's the order we go in from smallest to biggest. A quarter is worth 25 cents because it's 4 25-cent coins make $1. So, if he has 2 quarters, and we count by 25s. Counting by 25 sounds like 25, 50, 75, 100. So if he has 2 quarters now, he has 25, 50 cents. So he has traded something worth 100 cents, his dollar bill, for something worth 50 cents. So he went from having 100 cents to having 50 cents. So he's losing money. He has lost 50 cents because when we do 100 minus 50, we have 50 left. So he's now lost 50 cents. Then he takes his 2 quarters and he trades them with Lou. Now Lou has 3 dimes, so he is trading 2 coins for 3 dimes, so he's getting more coins. But think back to how much a dime is worth. A dime is worth 10 cents, so if we count by 10s 3 times, we find out he is actually trading 50 cents for 30 cents. So once again, this amount of money that our friend, this boy telling the story, has is going down. He went from 100, then he went to 50, and now he's traded it for 30. Then he makes another trade. He makes a trade with Old Blind Baked, and just because he can't see, he gives him 4 nickels for those 3 dimes. A nickel is worth 5 cents, so we can count by 5s to figure out how much that is. We have 4 of them, so 5, 10, 15, 20. So he started out with 3 dimes, which is 30, and now he has 4 nickels, which is 20. 30 minus 20 is 10, so he has lost 10 cents. Again, he's losing money. These do not sound like very smart choices. Then he takes those 4 nickels that he has, those 20 cents, and he goes down to Hiram Coombs down at the feed store. And he trades him 5 pennies. Pennies are our smallest coin. They are worth only 1 cent. So if they're each worth 1, 5 pennies is 5 cents. Now our friend has traded his 4 nickels, his 20 cents, for 5 pennies, 5 cents. And then he goes to show his dad, and his dad turns red in the face and shakes his head. And we're told by this little boy that he's shaking his head and he's red in the face because he's too proud to speak. Now let's think back. This little boy was given $1 by his dad, 100 cents. And he's traded and he's traded and traded. And we've just learned that he has lost a lot of money as he's making these trades. He started with 100 cents and he ended with just 5. I asked you to see if you could figure out how much money this little boy lost in all of his trades. Now, our number sentence that would match this, we could make a really long one to find out. We could do 100. minus 50 for those 2 quarters, minus 30 for the 3 dimes, minus 4 nickels, which is 20. We could do minus 5 for the 5 pennies, and we learn that he now has only got his 5 cents left. He started with 100, took away, then he ends up with 5. Now, how much did he take away? How much did he lose? We put all those numbers together, we can get 95. Another way you can solve this problem is you can get his starting amount, which is 100 cents. You can get his ending amount, which is 5 cents. And you can take away the 5 cents that he kept, and the amount that's left is the amount that he lost. So we could just do 100 minus 5, which would give us that same answer as 95. Now, before I read us our next poem, I want to check in on our seeds. My seeds have not changed very much because it was really cloudy yesterday, so they didn't get a whole lot of sunlight. But there has been a change in the bag that I noticed, and I want us to talk about that. As you see, my seeds have been living in a very sunny window, and there's a lot of sunlight today. So hopefully we'll see some more changes tomorrow. You can tell they're still getting dark in the middle. They're looking very green, if you can tell that much on your computer. So our seeds look about the same as they did yesterday when we checked in with them. But one thing I noticed is the back of the bag looks really wet. I have not added any more water to this bag today. So where did these little water droplets come from? You'll also notice it looks kind of steamy in here. It looks like there's been a cloud. Now there has not been a cloud that I grabbed out of the sky and stuck into this bag. So how do we think it got there? We can actually use our knowledge and understanding of the water cycle to figure it out. As we know the water cycle, when we have water and it heats up, usually from the sun, like in a puddle, sitting outside in your driveway, the sun heats up the water and the water turns to a gas that lifts up into the sky. And that's how we get our clouds. So what's happened in my bag with my squash seeds is that the sunlight and probably the heat from inside my room has heated up that water. It's been trapped in the bag, so the cloud couldn't go all the way up to the sky like they normally do outside. They just went up to the top of the bag, or until they hit the edge of the bag. And then when our cloud got too heavy, it formed water droplets. That's exactly what happens with our clouds in the sky. When they get too heavy, when they get too much moisture, too much water, gas in that cloud, it comes down as rain. And then they form the puddles, and the whole thing starts all over again. So while that's not the purpose of our purpose of our experiment, we're still able to learn a lot about that in our bag. So we've actually got 2 experiments going on in one. Now, I have a fun activity planned today. We're actually going to be cooking something, one of my favorite breakfast treats that's real simple that maybe you can make at home. If not, you'll get to see how we use math every single time that we cook, whether we realize it or not. But before we do that, I want to read you a really funny poem. Now, today is April 1st, which is April Fool's Day. And I don't have any good jokes for you, but I think this silly poem will do just the trick. This is another poem by Shel Silverstein. Now, tomorrow we're going to be reading a whole picture book, so come back tomorrow for that. Today will be one of our last days of poems for a while. We'll take a break. Today's, though, is one of my absolute favorite poems. I remember being in elementary school and my teacher reading us this, and I remember sitting on the carpet, and this poem was so funny. I burst out laughing on the road because I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. This is called The Crocodile's Toothache. Go ahead and look at that picture and make some predictions. What on earth do you think is happening to this crocodile? What do you think is going to happen to this man inside his mouth? And why is he in there? Let's find out. The Crocodile's Toothache. The crocodile went to the dentist and sat down in the chair. And the dentist said, "Now tell me, sir, why does it hurt and where?" And the crocodile said, "I'll tell you the truth. I've a terrible ache in my tooth." And he opened his jaws so wide, And the dentist, he climbed right on inside. And the dentist laughed, "Oh, isn't this fun?" as he pulled the teeth out one by one. And the crocodile cried, "You're hurting me so! Please put down your pliers and let me go." But the dentist just laughed with a ho, ho, ho. And he said, "I still have 12 to go." Oops, that's the wrong one, I confess. But what's one crocodile tooth, more or less? Then suddenly the jaws went snap, and the dentist was gone, right off the map. And where he went, one could only guess, to north or south or east or west. He left no forwarding address. But what's one more dentist, more or less?